So today, let's go through the top 2 easiest solutions, and I'll even demonstrate one of these on my neck directly, on my own neck right here in front of you today. Because it's not that your neck cream stopped working. I hear that all the time.
Doc, my neck cream has stopped working.
It's actually that you're asking a cream to do a job that it was never designed to do. You need something more sometimes, and it can be at home. It's like asking your Costco membership to make your dinner. It gets the ingredients into the house, there's no doubt, but somebody still has to do the real work.
Can you make my dinner?
Ma'am, here are your ingredients for dinner.
I still have to cook my dinner.
Skincare's there, but you need a little more. Now let's start with what not to do first. Just a couple snippets. And one of the main reasons that I'm making this video. You need to know what not to do, because a lot of times what you do to try and make it better actually makes it worse. Let's just go through a couple today.
I've done Morpheus on my neck quite a few times a few years ago. I was left with grid mark scars on my neck that have not gone away no matter what I've tried. I thought that I was seeing maybe tighter skin and everything was looking a little bit smoother. That was because I was inflamed.
So grid marks, meaning this is RF microneedling. Morpheus is one. There's many out there. But remember, today we're talking about that lower crepey neck skin. A little bit the upper if you're getting crepey too, but particularly this is the lower where there's almost no fat. And she had scarring, but let's listen just a little bit more.
Things were swollen in that area because then those results went away. Essentially, all that Morpheus is doing is causing inflammation, which then will plump up the skin temporarily, and then you're left with scarring.
You see, plumping always looks good. It's like a facelift. It looks great up to the first 2 to 3 months because there's swelling. When the swelling goes away, some people get disappointed. Same thing here.
Permanent scarring. Morpheus claims that it's this amazing treatment and everybody is curious about it or is being sold on it. And I'm here to tell you that it's not what you think. Don't waste your money. I learned the hard way. There's no need to cause...
Okay, right? So it's RF microneedling is one of the most common causes in the lower neck. Now, RF microneedling, a good treatment, but I'm talking about there's fat in that neck. And I'm going to show you coming up down in the video why that's important. But if you lose that fat right there, you're kind of toast. In RF microneedling, people use the same settings that they do in the cheek down in the neck, and that ends up being a disaster. So remember, it's not necessarily the device, but how it's being used. Car can be great, but cars can also be used for inappropriately, let's put it that way. Now here's one more.
So a month ago I had my teardrop filler dissolved just under my eyes here. So since having it done, I've not been feeling great about my face. I feel like my under eyes are very hollow. I've sort of lost definition on my cheeks here, and my eyes just look very sunken.
Okay, so she had filler dissolved in the eyes. It's not the most common thing on the neck, but yes, people use filler, hyaluronic acid cross-link filler, for the necklines. You guys call them kind of the lines that go across. They're the horizontal lines or necklace lines. They're very natural. So some people do get dissolver in the neck, and then that can change and reduce your own natural hyaluronic acid, and many people think your own neck fat. Remember, there's not much fat there. And then when people see that, sometimes they're told this.
And some doctors even told me it was my mind, like if I was crazy.
So some people told they're crazy, but you didn't have that crepey skin before, so what caused it? One last one I want you to see, because this shows energy devices used in the neck, and then we're going to solutions and demo.
Dann sieht man, dass der Hals eine richtige vorgealterte Hautstruktur hat. Das hat genetische Gründe, das hat aber auch mit der Sonneneinstrahlung zu tun. Das dauert natürlich seine Zeit, aber innerhalb der nächsten 8 bis 12 Wochen wird man schon eine deutliche...
So another aggressive style treatment, these can either be RF or lasers put underneath the skin to quote unquote tighten it, but they can also melt some fat, and that is one of the benefits. Just remember, the point here is, and the plasma pen, these are all done as aggressive treatments for this delicate skin. That's the point. Let's move on. Because thin, crepey neck skin, it's not asking for more heat, more needles, or more injury. But the moment skincare stops being enough, that's exactly where many of my clients turn. They try and go for these aggressive procedures. Bad. It's like seeing a loose thread on your sweater, and then you reach for a chainsaw. Makes no sense. More aggressive does not automatically mean more effective. I hope that comes through because it would save a lot of people from having to come into clinics. So the two better steps today, one takes only a few minutes. The other helps your neck cream work much harder. And stay until the end because I will also show you a simple tip that you can start doing today, something you're likely already doing and you already have. Nothing to buy more. I did put everything today in the more info section with links and a discount code for you today. I also pinned everything to the top of the comment section should you wish to research these devices and products more thoroughly and have quick and easy access. Because suffice it to say, putting more neck cream onto unsupported crepey skin is like polishing a wrinkled bedsheet without first pulling it tight. You need the mattress, and that's today's video. The cream treats the sheet. Today we're fixing the support underneath. And neck fat, it's possibly more important than the fat on any other area of the face because there's so little of it. I alluded to that, right? Look at this cross section of the neck so you know how important this is. The fat layer right here, it's tiny. Lose it, and yes, as I said, you're toast, but now you see the visual. There are 4 major reasons people are losing volume in the face and neck. See which one applies to you. You need to be aware of them. Number 1, normal aging. Of course, we can't change that because as we age, the fat compartments, they just shrink and they descend or fall a little bit. It's more distribution or redistribution, if you want to be technical, but it does.
We all love that youthful volume in our necks, but when that little bit of fat decides to leave, ta-da! It is crepey skin. Too bad.
Number 2, we're seeing rapid weight loss, especially people on GI. Your body may be getting smaller, but your face and neck do not get to choose where that fat comes off. So people might lose it in the face first, the body first, but definitely the face will be effective. And right now, everyone seems to be stacking something. Everybody that is, except the dealers, the people that are handing it out. They're not stacking peptides, they're stacking the cash. And if this whole peptide craze is new to you, if you haven't heard about it, my video on peptides is a must-see. I have a couple. I love peptides, but the sourcing is a problem. Number 3 is overly aggressive energy-based treatments, and we covered that. The energy devices can be excellent when they're used at the correct depth and settings, on the correct patient, in the correct zone. But I must say, this is the number 1 area that we're talking about today that I see it affect negatively. Too much energy delivered too deeply affects that fat. And number 4 is filler dissolving. You saw that clip, and here's an important point. Not all neck fat is bad. I know people want to get rid of their fat, but you need that neck fat. Excess fat underneath the chin, yes, it blurs the jawline, but the healthy layer right here provides padding, softness, and structural support. So here's what I do, and I have my clients do, and it works. The 2 steps, and no, you're going to wait for red light, but it's not red light today. But I do know many of you are already using red and near infrared. That's great, and it is excellent. And whether it's in a mask, or you have a red light gua sha like this one, or you have a wand, doesn't matter if the wavelengths are right. But for the loose, crepey neck skin we're talking about today, right down here, like in this picture, red light alone is probably not going to be enough to get it where most people want tightened. You want to think of red light as turning on the cellular machinery before you deliver the ingredients. Red light's like priming, if you will. We need to add 2 more signals for crepiness like this, one from the surface and one deeper. So step number 1 is controlled derma rolling, like this. Yes, your neck cream may contain excellent ingredients, peptides, retinoids, growth factors, antioxidants, hydrating ingredients, yeah. But simply spreading those ingredients over increasingly thin and crepey skin, it's not going to create enough of a signal. You guys know this. This has been tough. Derma rolling, however, creates a controlled surface stimulus, and you get different sized needles and different slips that you use to put on. Remember we primed with the red light? Well, we primed to harness what's called wound healing. That's the key with derma rolling. But the word here is controlled. The neck is not your forehead. It's not the cheek where you have robust skin. The neck is thinner, more reactive, less forgiving. By reactive, what do I mean? Inflammation. Inflammation is probably the number one thing aging most of us. You don't want to treat your neck like a stubborn spot on a frying pan. More pressure, more scrubbing, more passes does not automatically mean more collagen.
Oh my God!
You're not trying to make yourself bleed. You're not trying to prove how tough you are. More injury doesn't automatically mean more collagen. I need to get that through to you today because so many make that mistake. What size derma roller do I use? A short, conservative 0.25 millimeter is enough when you have a great slip. Because I know what you're thinking. Doc, we need a pen. We need a stamp. I have stamps all over here. Look, we'll open one up now. For those that don't know what a stamp is, there's many different types of stamps, but this one is a container, and then you can put the ingredients in here, what I call a slip. You put it on top, you screw it on, you take the top off, and you can stamp in the ingredients. I have all different sorts of these, and even in clinic have used obviously electronic pens and pens with different RPMs. I test all of it. But for today, for this area, all you need is simple, inexpensive derma rolling. It's great. Yeah, if you're going deeper, like 1 millimeter with these, you can go to a pen, not a roller, because that can tear the tissue. But for this depth, you don't need a stamp or a pen. It's not an acne scar we're treating today. Ingredients and slips, that's what you're going to ask about. In other words, what should you be using to put on before? I use plasmasomes. What you use matters. And for those interested in slips, I'll put a link in the video at the end, but you can use dry derma rolling. Many people do and get good effects. Of course, I think a slip with pointed signals is better. In fact, I even have a complete course on derma rolling. It's that important, and you get it with plasmasomes. You get it for free. 2 quick myths here. Myth number 1, if it hurts more, it works better. No. In my experience over 30 years, that mindset is exactly how people overdo the neck and make it angry or inflamed. And even more crepey. It gets worse. It really does. Then people don't know. And they keep chasing it, and it's a cycle, a crescendo effect. A second myth here with derma rolling or stamping, more passes means more collagen. Also no. Repeatedly attacking thin neck skin, it doesn't make you smarter or tighter. Makes you more likely to irritate skin that's already fragile. And I know I'm going to see in the comments below, Doc, 0.25 millimeter does nothing. Okay, give me your references and show me how many patients you've treated to get that number of 1 millimeter. So take my free course if you haven't. It's free with plasmasomes, and I even go over the best inexpensive way to clean your devices and much more. Step number 2 is controlled at home, because that's the most cost-effective, inexpensive way, radio frequency. Not galvanic and not home laser. Now, for those of you with galvanic devices, certainly use them. They can help absorption of the ingredients, but they're not going to give the structural support like radio frequency does. Not at home laser or laser red light masks. Lasers are a narrow, defined beam of light we use in clinics to target pigment, sometimes water, in the case of erbium YAGs or CO2 lasers. Watch my videos on those. But lasers typically don't tighten the skin. Where that comes from is the old school CO2s that we used to do, where we basically burned the face off and it grew back. You'd get tightening with that. But the CO2s used today, called fractionated CO2s, most people can't take the downtime to get that skin tightening. So if you have home lasers, it's okay, but it's really not going to tighten your neck. RF is used for that. But the important thing is controlled heating, controlled RF. And yes, the same priming we did with the derma rolling, so using either your exosome creams or particularly red light before the treatment, so before your RF or red light before the derma roller, the same priming works for radio frequency. Let's demonstrate that for you today so you get an idea how easy this is at home. There's different RF devices out there, and in Asia, particularly Korea. I see a fair bit of at-home ultrasound. So radio frequency, you'll know things like X-Therm. I did a recent video on Thermage, Zerf. Those are radio frequency. This is like that. Ultrasound is Thermage. And by the way, when you get a treatment like that done, you know, if you've had Thermage or Ulthera done, they'll say, come back in 6 months for your after pictures. It takes time to work. And that's why an at-home product is great, because you can use it as much as you want. You only need to use it a couple times a week, but meaning that you can use it for years. So if you get an Ulthera or Thermage or something at a clinic, of course, it's usually $3,000 to $5,000 and you do it once every few years. But honestly, you have to do radio frequency more than that. It's just too expensive for clinics to do it. That's why at-home works. Why 6 months? It's because you're denaturing the collagen quote unquote grows back, so it firms up when it repairs. Again, it's a wound healing process, and that process takes 3 to 6 months. Can you see results quickly? Yeah, but can it take for final results of an in-clinic up to 6 months? Yeah, and of course you've aged within those 6 months, so it's hard to tell. Thus, at home is nicer. So with these devices, you turn it on, there's low and high, the color changes to a solid. It's blue there. You put on the gel. You can put on your face or you can put it here. It's easy to do that. You press the button one more time and then it's going to time out whatever the time is for the device you have. This is a Nua. I'll put links for this and other products we talk about today in the more info section, and I'll pin it to the top of the comments. But it'll time you per section of the face. And then the advanced ones like these, they shut off when they get above 43 degrees C, and they even will turn color. I'll just start on the side of my neck here. And I'm going to answer your thyroid questions today too, but it's already warming up. It's pretty warm in the room I'm in. I was hydrated this morning despite my coffee, so it will probably warm up pretty quick, but it depends. And it's just circular motions, okay? And I can feel it warming up. It might turn to green and it might not. If it gets really warm, it'll turn to green and you'll see that change. It's really warm right now. I wouldn't doubt. Is it green? It's green. So that tells me I'm up near 40, 41, 42, and it will shut off when it gets too hot to protect my fat. That's really hot there. I felt that. Okay, great. So that's what I'm doing. That's for the neck. I can go up and treat the jawline. I know we're talking about the lower neck today. Sometimes I'll be on the phone or I'll be on a call and I'll just sit here and use the device. Now, if I'm going to the other side, I should add a little more gel. The gel, all great RF devices, by the way, use a coupling gel. And again, it's not hot right now. You don't want a device that heats up just sitting there. This one has to be on the skin. I am going to cover the thyroid in a minute, but it gets a little goopy. I only have 2 hands here to demonstrate, talk to you, but I will show you. That's already warm. Let's see. It's turned green. So that's how quick. You know you're in the zone. If you're cool or the ambient temperature around you is cool, it might not turn to green that quickly, but you'll feel the warmth. Doesn't need to be in the green. I personally, and this is up to you, I treat over the thyroid. I've used these for a long time. This is multipolar radio frequency. A monopolar is different. You put a patch in the back, the energy goes out right through the body. This is sending the energy from one electrode to the other, so it's much more controlled than monopolar RF. So personally, I treat the skin over the thyroid. I'm not too worried. I've done this for 25 years with different devices. But for those that don't want, I don't have a towel here, but you can take a towel. You simply move your skin, and the more lax it is, the easier it is. I can't grab because it's moist here, but you move the skin to the side and you treat away from the thyroid, and then you switch hands. I don't want to get both dirty. You switch hands and you move the skin. You move the skin to the side. When you have a towel that grabs on your skin, it'll move to the side, and you can treat the center skin to the side of the thyroid. So circular motions. Would you go up and treat the submentum? Sure. Treat the jowl area, the forehead, treat around below the eye. You certainly can. There's no need to treat the temple with it, but if people use it on the body, you're going to have that question. Certainly, I have whole playlists on how to use this stuff, but it gets a bit goopy. And then when you want to turn it off, you just hit the button on the side. And this is a rechargeable one. That's what I tend to use because I like that. We have ones with cords if you want that. So there's many different options. Of course, before we go on, you're going to have lots of questions. I do have a playlist on it. Ask questions below, I answer. But radio frequency is going to be more powerful than your galvanic for this, and it's going to be way more powerful than your home laser. Your home laser is not a skin tightening device per se. Understanding again that more heat is not automatically better, more pain is not automatically better, and a treatment looking dramatic on Instagram does not automatically mean it's creating a better result. It's social media. Now, if you look up the NUA device, it's not FDA studied for the neck because you can only do so many studies to get a device approved. But I've used RF on the neck for years and years. So your derma rolling creates that controlled signal closer to the surface. Your radio frequency creates the deeper thermal signal. One's working in a sense from the top down, the other works from underneath. And together, they make much more sense than buying another expensive skin cream and expecting it to somehow replace the structure you've lost. The NUA, as I said, you can use it for years. A derma rolling kit like this one, Plasmazomes, it's going to last you about every 3 to 6 months is the most common reordering we see of that. Now, I told you about that free tip, right? PDRN, which is salmon sperm facial, you would have heard of that. So it's salmon sperm polynucleotides, polydeoxyribonucleotides. That's one. Snail mucin and exosomes. And guess what? They come in things like sheet masks. But here's the problem. The masks go on your face. They typically don't cover your neck, right? But there's something in here called essence, and it's highly absorbable. As an example, mine, this is the PDRN you can see. This is the Centella asiatica and exosomes. Here's a snail mucin. They're made in Korea. Korean ingredients are next level. They're anti-inflammatory or low inflammatory, so they're great after both of these treatments. Not before, but after, especially your microneedling or derma rolling, where you're getting that wound healing response from physical injury of the needles. Most people, they throw it away after, but there's so much goodness in here, don't waste it. Also, of course, your décolleté and the back of the hands. That one area we're talking about in the video, most people also forget to put their sunscreen down below where that loose skin occurs. That's why it's the first area on the neck to show that crepey skin. So here's your simple plan. Continue using your red light, like 630 nanometers, and your near infrared light, 830 nanometers. Don't go above 900 nanometers. And if you have a quality one like mine, the mask is going to add what's called PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field also. Then you're going to add your controlled derma rolling for the crepey surface, and then carefully controlled radio frequency for a deeper collagen remodeling signal. And throughout the day, get your head off your chest. Posture makes a difference. Tech neck is a thing. Use your computer high. And no, your neck cream didn't stop working. But once the skin becomes thin, loose, and crepey, you need to add a physical signal because you can't moisturize your way out of structure. And you can't burn, dissolve, or injure your way into a naturally youthful neck. Here is that video I promised you on derma rolling slips, and one down here on a playlist of devices for your neck at home using RF to keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.